I want you to look at it as an open syllable. The first word is an open syllable. Could you tap it out for me? Okay, very good.
Icing
Very good, Elijah.
on a cake as they hang from the roof. Ice gets thick on the lakes and rivers.
Okay.
It smelt sweet.
And little bear was glad. Best, and little bear was best man.
And little bear was best man. That means he helped with the wedding. There he was right there. The end. Do you like this book?
Yeah.
Angelica, how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel good about yourself?
Yeah.
Do you feel proud?
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you. You have really come a long way, and you're reading hard books like this.
I think give me somebody who has not learned how to read, who's got average intelligence, who hasn't learned how to read because of a difficulty in language processing. And yes, I believe I can teach them how to read.
I have promised and will continue to promise to teach every child to read if they fit into this kind of profile of at least average intelligence but have some kind of processing problems that interfere with written language, either learning how to read, write, or spell.
In the elementary programs for the learning disabled, we do have a mission to provide alternative language arts instruction to our LD children in the styles in which they learn best. Our intent is to make them independent readers, writers, spellers, and thinkers, and to return them to general education.
Children who we begin working with in the early grades do learn how to read, and we no longer have children who cannot read when they get to the upper grades.
For reading, we really, by the time you're 5, we can tell you whether you're at risk to have a hard time with reading. And it's done mainly by finding out how you are with the level of language that deals with speech sounds, the fancy word for which is phonology. How good are you as a gymnast who can play around with the speech sounds? For example, can you rhyme?
We can say, tell us 3 words that rhyme with cat. And a kid who's going to be able to read will go hat, mat, fat. And you say, well, my goodness, that's so easy. What does the kid have to do? Well, the kid has to slice off that first sound and replace it with another one. We ask a youngster who's not going to be able to read, they don't understand the task whatsoever, even after we teach it.
Let's see if we can clap some more words. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I have a whole bunch of words that I want to see if you can clap. Like animal.
Animal.
Let me hear Molly do it all by herself.
Animal.
I'm thinking of an animal that rhymes with liger.
Tiger.
Good. I'm thinking of an animal that rhymes with Mayan.
Mayan lion.
Is that a real animal?
No.
What's another animal that you would see at the zoo that would rhyme?
Giraffe.
Learning disabilities are not always obvious. They may be hidden handicaps.
There are some children that I have worked with who've memorized Curious George, who've memorized Frog and Toad. So they pick up the book and they're reading, you know, and they're bright, loquacious little kids. And anybody would say, this kid doesn't have a learning disability. This kid doesn't have dyslexia. Listen to him read. Listen how bright he is. You know, that's another thing that I think can be confusing is children can be extraordinarily bright and have difficulty learning how to read. So those children, in effect, because they're so verbal and bright, mask the fact that they have as compelling a need as a child who's less verbal. You know, and sometimes those are the children that really don't get identified until almost the 3rd grade, sometimes even the 4th grade, when suddenly the pictures disappear. Those lovely little beautiful trade books disappear, and they're given a social studies text, and no longer can they wing it.
Learning disabilities cannot be cured, but with the right kind of teaching, people can learn to cope with them and be successful. How do we help the person struggling with the written language? Children who do not readily learn to read. More and more research tells us that there is an answer, not a cure, but a way to help those who find it difficult to cross the gap between speech and reading. These children are best taught explicitly and consistently to understand what the structure of the alphabetic writing system is and how it relates to speech. This teaching works best when it is multisensory, reaching them simultaneously through their eyes and ears and the motion of their bodies as they learn. The explanations and exercises take different forms and different approaches, but they are all rigorous and explicit, making no assumptions that a child is somehow absorbing information. The multisensory part means that letters you can see stand for sounds you can hear, and when you write them, you name the letters as you feel the shapes in your arms and hands, and even in your fingertips.
There's something to add here, as in pass, final.
Most of us think of phonics as worksheets. This is totally, kinesthetic, tactile, and auditory with some visual in there. You're watching the teacher, you're watching other students do it, but there's not the paper pencil task. That's not what we're asking students to do, is to fill in the letter. We're asking them to segment and then put words back together, put words into sentences, and then continue on to the different books.
Then I'm going to drop a L. Now, when I put those letters in together, do they mix up?
We have found, because we had many teachers that enjoyed whole language, but they also felt like a piece was missing from their whole language. And they felt that this was the part that was missing. The whole that was in whole language is what they actually said. It integrates the good phonics with the literature that they get from the whole language.
Go to church on Sunday with them. Oh, how we love to hear Miss Sheila sing.
We should no longer be battling over phonics versus whole language. The purpose of the explicit teaching we are recommending is not to stifle the imagination or regiment young people. Its purpose is simply to give those who cannot seem to acquire them the tools they need to function in school and life after school.